Hey guys, what's going on? Sadiq. Welcome to Experiences with Sadiq. Experiences with Sadiq is about all things real estate. A show where communication is key, advocating for the people's bliss, and knowledge, it's inspiring. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the show. And oh yeah, don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms. Whether you're buying or selling a home, I'm that guy. Let's go. What's going on, guys? It's your man Sadiq. Welcome to Experiences with Sadiq, where communication is key, advocating for the people's bliss and knowledge. It's inspiring. Today I have a guest by the name of Samuel Alba from the Alba Group. Sam, welcome to our platform. If you don't mind, please talk to the people, let the people know who you are. Appreciate you coming on. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you, my man. Appreciate you bringing me on.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure. It's always an honor.
Welcome.
Again, my name is Samuel Alba with the Alba Group. I currently just engaged in opening up a RE/MAX franchise, RE/MAX Innovation here in Providence, where that's what we're sitting here today.
Congratulations, I saw that.
Thank you. Work in progress, you know. It's been a team effort. You know, I got to thank my team because so far without them, we wouldn't be here. You know, they helped get us all here, and here we are, and they're just continuing making this project just happen. So RE/MAX Innovation brought to you by the Alba Group and everybody else who's been joining the program. So it's been a blessing.
I've seen a lot of your marketing stuff in regards to what you guys represent for the Alba Group, and I really respect that a lot because I believe that marketing is key. Yeah. And the way you guys represent yourself as a team, as a whole, I think that's very, very important. And great job on that.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Now, did you grow up in Providence, Sam, if you don't mind me asking? Or
no,
where did you grow up?
I grew up, even though I had a lot of ties to Providence, I grew up in Central Falls, Rhode Island.
All right.
I graduated from Central Falls High School. From there, I went to grab an accounting degree from the University of Rhode Island. Nice. But I've always had a lot of ties, family members, friends in Providence. Later on in my life, after I grew up, lived in Providence. And today is where I do the bulk of my business, is Providence County. Even though we're spread out, you know, we're doing listings out in Newport, we're out in Mass, but Providence County, where it's Cranston, East Providence, Johnson, you know, so on, Central Falls, is where the core of my personal business is, you know. And it's a blessing, because it's great. It's great to see your community bettering themselves through home ownership, and it's a blessing to actually help them go through that process. So it's been great. You know, I do enjoy that part of the career.
That's amazing. What nationality are you?
I'm Dominican, from Dominican Republic.
Nice. And you grew up in Central Falls.
Central
Falls is known for Colombians, though.
It was 4 Dominicans and a lot of Colombians. Yeah.
Did you guys get bullied, or was it like one of those things that just worked out well?
We were smart enough to make friends. You know, we made our allies, so it worked out. It definitely worked out. No, Central Falls with Colombians. Yeah. So it was a very diverse city. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a melting pot. Cape Verdeans. People confuse me for being Cape Verdean. A lot of my friends
I can see that.
Cape Verdeans. But that will only happen in Rhode Island. Because, you know, Cape Verdeans are only in the state of Rhode Island and Cape Verde. But yeah, it was nice growing up in Central Falls. The culture that you were exposed to growing up there is cool.
Definitely. How would you define the culture?
Again, a melting pot. So you're getting, Colombia, even though people might assume that Colombian, Dominican, same, completely different. Cape Verdean, everything just came together, and everything will come into that high school and just melt in there, you know. And it was just a learning experience, eye-opening, because you're exposed. Yeah, you're exposed to different personalities, different point of views. Yeah. So it's cool. You know?
It's crazy because I grew up in Providence, and when I first came to this country, one of the things that when I first came to this country, the first city that actually my parents moved to was Pawtucket. So my parents moved from Nigeria to Oklahoma. I don't know what made them decide to move to Oklahoma, but that was the first state out of all the states.
They knew somebody in Oklahoma. You just don't land in Oklahoma.
Exactly, you just don't land in Oklahoma, and that was the first state they moved to. And probably about like a couple of years or so, we ended up moving to Pawtucket. So I ended up going to Agnes E. Little. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Agnes E. Little. One of my sisters, which she's really my cousin, she was living with us at the time. She went to Jenks as well. Jenks, I believe Jenks was a middle school. And so like, and then we ended up moving to Providence like early 90s. 90s, like 1990 or something like that. And that's when I started to experience diversity in terms of culture and everything in regards to that. And one of the things I realized was just the people and the city itself and the different things they bring culturally, you know, to a community. And I think that's really, really dope. And one of the things that I want to like talk about is basically in regards to your involvement, like where did entrepreneurship begin for you, you know, as Sam Alba?
You know, I think that's something that a lot of people are kind of born with, just in terms of wanting to create something and develop something. I actually opened up my first business right out of college. I graduated 2003. It was a very tough job market. You know, most of my classmates actually stayed, whether I was there playing or not, stayed in school just because there was nothing in the workforce for them. So instead of going out and not getting a job, or maybe getting a job that wasn't what they were looking for in terms of career-wise, they stayed. They stayed and went for their masters. I was kind of over school at the time, you know. That was me at the moment. And me and my good friend of mine, you know, at the time, my best friend, Richard Oliveira, we opened up a car wash. We opened up a business called Touch of Class. It's still operating today. Yeah. So, you know, that was like the first official sign of just wanting to create and open a business up and getting it started. But again, I did that for several years. He ended up taking off with it, and he's still successfully managing it today. And I've always dabbled in my own business ever since. And even as an agent, people always were just waiting for me to open up my own brokerage. And it was, for me, it was never, in this business, you kind of are your own boss as a real estate agent.
Definitely.
You know, so there was no need for me to have to say I own a brokerage. You know, I'm kind of running my own business as an agent. But most people are not aware that we wear all the hats as as a realtor. So eventually, it did lead up to where I did come out and just recently open up a brokerage, and I felt like I did it for me and my team. I wanted to create these opportunities not only for me and my team, and this is just kind of a stepping stone to get in there and creating opportunities for, again, me and my team members as well. You know.
Nah, that's amazing, because entrepreneurship, a lot of people don't realize that when it comes down to being a real estate agent, we are a walking business, right?
Yeah.
So the importance of being able to build something from the ground up is very crucial. Like, just like any business, as a realtor, you can fail in 5 years because it's a business of its own. So if there are things that you're not doing properly, you know, especially since you're bringing up a team. And how long you had your team for?
Team has been going for 6 years now.
That's solid.
Yeah, 6 years. So the team's been growing for 6 years. Yeah.
Solid. And like, that's very strong, because now, like, not only do you have to worry about yourself, but there's other individuals. Yes, you do have your individuals behind you, your team that's supporting you, but they're also their own agent. But you, being the founder of it, you still have a responsibility, right? And the responsibility is probably making sure your team operates to your standards, correct?
Yeah, it's definitely operating to, you know, our standard or the culture that we have within the team. But at the same time, making sure that we're growing and making sure that we're pushing and holding ourselves accountable. Because that's a big part with being self-employed as agents, is nobody's holding you accountable, whether you're waking up hungry that day or not. And having somebody holding you accountable to make sure that you get up and you grind and you push the envelope every day, it's important. You know, it's nice to have. You know, we watch each other. So, and again, as a team leader, you want to create opportunities, because with my team, I wasn't trying to create a team with a bunch of followers. I wanted leaders within the team. So you got to be able to feed leaders these opportunities. If not, they're going to go get them. So that's kind of the setup that I try to create.
So you'll say that's your culture.
Yeah, I want leaders on my team. I'm not looking for Sam Alba and a bunch of assistants. I don't have that. You know, and that was important to me, because before I started the team, I would just be able to recognize team leaders in the industry. You wouldn't be able to identify who was in that team. And I think I've successfully managed that, because people in our industry know who my team members are.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't know my name, which was important to me.
I remember, you know where I'm going with it.
That was a proud moment. Go ahead. That was a real proud moment for me. Yeah.
So we met, even though I've known you before, I've seen you around. I've never really physically met you until there was an event that a mortgage company.
It was a banker, yeah.
A banker threw at the water place over here in Providence. And that's when I actually finally saw you in person. It was weird because I really thought, I thought one of your team members that's on your team, I thought he was actually the owner of the company. And when he told me that you was, that threw me for a loop. I'm like, what?
The whole conference table went loud because they thought I was going to take offense to it.
Yeah. So what did you tell me though that day?
Yeah. No, you walked in. You know, you greeted everybody at the table. Came to me. I introduced myself, Sam. You know, I didn't elaborate.
And you were cool and laid back.
And Roger's sitting next to me, Roger Duque. And he introduces himself like,
respect to Roger.
Roger, the Alba group. Yeah. And you said something, and then he said, no, Sam's the Alba group leader. He was like, oh, I always thought you were Roger. And the whole table screams. But for me, like, it hadn't been 24 hours that I just finished putting a post up on Instagram that said, create a team so strong that nobody could tell who the leader was. So for me, that was like perfect. It was perfect because I just finished posting that. Because that's always been the mission. That's always been the goal. And it was like proven success as soon as that happened.
No, that was amazing.
So I appreciate you coming through that day.
It's all love. It's all love. It threw me for a loop that day, and I think that's why I actually grew like a fond respect for you. You know, now as an entrepreneur who's goes out there and like brags about, you know, that they own this, they own that, but you play like a really, really cool role. It's almost as if you play the back burner versus the front line, and I think I respect that more about you because just your morals. I could see that you're a man of morals and truly appreciate that.
You're
welcome. I want to get into something that you're heavily involved with, right? Yeah. Especially majority of your team members. Or the Alba group is Hispanic.
Yeah, we have also a diverse group. Yeah, so we have Hispanic, Polish, Cape Verdean. So French Canadian. So but we do have a large Hispanic presence within the team. Yes.
And there's a company, an organization. Let me not say company, an organization that I believe you're heavily involved with, called NAHREP, right? And I want people, even myself, I do want to be educated on this. I want to know what is NAHREP and what is your involvement within that organization.
So NAHREP here, let me try to say what it stands for. Is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Can't say that too times, right? But it's actually an organization that a good friend of mine, Ramon Felice, brought to my attention about 2.5 years ago. He was part of that organization out in Jersey, where we just came down from, and he came out. We had lunch. He tells me, "Sam, you guys don't have a NAHREP chapter out here," and I didn't know what NAHREP was. He said, "Listen, this is a national organization. They're making major movement within the Hispanic community. You know, honestly, just the communities where Hispanics have a presence in." To cut the story short, you know, I looked into it. I was really feeling what they stood for. I saw how structured it was. It wasn't like a local organization. It's actually the largest Hispanic organization that exists in the country. Not in terms of real estate driven only, it's just the largest Hispanic organization that exists in the whole country. So I saw the magnitude of it and the power that actually it had. And pretty much what it is. So again, Ramon brought it to my attention. He said, let's start a chapter. I said, let's do it. I'm all for it. And we created a board of 12 members. So we created a board. I was the president, so the founder president of the chapter here in Providence, Rhode Island. My term is up coming in December. And another proud moment is that one of my team members, Roger Duque, is set up to be the next president, because he's current the vice president today, and he'll be stepping up to be, automatically to be the president for the next term.
Shout out,
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah,
You're making big moves.
Yeah, he's already
You're making big moves.
He's been mentioned 3 times in this video.
I know, right?
I'm gonna have to mention my wife, Samuel Alba. I'm gonna get in trouble. No, Roger's definitely doing his things, and he's aggressive in terms of what he's trying to accomplish in his career. But NAHREP, it's been ongoing. We're running for 2 years, and I'm just looking forward to see what Roger's going to do. The next step. It was a challenge just getting it off the ground. I'm looking forward to just seeing the next step in the growth of the program here locally. What do they stand for, and what are they trying to accomplish? They're trying to pretty much create wealth for the Hispanic and the minority community. How is pretty much by home ownership, and not only home ownership, because we've seen it in the past where maybe your parents or my parents or grandparents, they were able to purchase a home, but they weren't able to sustain it, and they don't own it today. And if anything, that was a blow back to that family financially, right? So it's more about home sustainability, being able to purchase a home and sustain it, and it's through educating them and showing them the tools that their parents didn't pass down to them. At the end of the day, they didn't have that luxury where all this knowledge was just automatically passed down to them. So we're trying to just to be a platform in terms of being able to educate our community and seeing them grow and create wealth through real estate ownership, home ownership.
That's amazing.
So the key word there is sustainability, really, because that's what we want to try to create. And it's the way the program is created is they're not trying to educate the end consumer. When we show up to all these NAHREP events at a national level, even local level, you see all the professionals that cater to the end consumer. So making sure that they have the education so they could pass it down to that first-time home buyer, making sure they have the tools and they have all the resources so that they could pass it down to our community. And that's the way it's worked, and it's been working. The program's been around since the 90s. And they've had tremendous success with it, So I'm very proud to be a part of it. Again, really looking forward to just watching it grow here locally.
That's amazing. I remember there's a realtor by the name of Jennifer Valley.
Yep. She's on our board. Yep.
She's on your board. Yep. So she actually was the first one who ever brought NAHREP to my attention. She invited me out to. You guys had an event that I was supposed to go to. I couldn't make it, and then obviously you guys had another one coming up, but obviously COVID hit.
Yeah. It's been a hiccup for everything.
Yeah, I know. So unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to go and see what you guys are really about. But I have seen videos online of stuff that you guys have done, and I actually respect that a lot. In terms of what you guys are pushing towards and what you guys are representing, and what you guys are representing, meaning how you guys are bringing the Hispanic community into the forefront of home ownership. But in order to do that, you guys are educating the ones that are heavily involved in real estate to be able to provide key information, key knowledge to those that are looking to, once again, purchase a home or sell a home, whatever the case may be. And I think that's really dope, and I think that's cool. Why is NAHREP an important organization for the Hispanic community, and how has it changed the lives of Hispanic homeowners?
Well, why is it important is, I kind of touched on a little bit. It's just, how important is educating yourself, and that this is why NAHREP is important, because it's a huge educational tool that we're providing for the Hispanic community. And you know what? I keep saying Hispanic, but it's not just Hispanic. It's just, that was the title of the program, and it was a group of Hispanics that started. But at the end of the day, it's more about the communities that we live in. The board is not 100% Hispanic board members, but they're individuals from all different parts and all different cultures that cater to the Hispanic community or our community here in Providence. So how is that important? Well, the education is key, is power, right? How else can we guide them to be able to sustain this home that they work so hard to purchase? instead of educating them, giving them the knowledge, giving them the know-hows and the tools to be able to do that, and then elevate to the next level. Maybe that's their second home or an investment property at that point, or just being able to leverage that equity that they have to maybe invest or start a new business, whatever it is that their next venture in life is. And this is why it's not only realtor-driven. It's realtor-driven, but it's not only realtors that are part of the organization. On my board, I have CPAs, we have attorneys, we have financial advisors, bankers. It's just not limited to only realtors. Again, realtor-driven, but when I go to these conventions nationally, everybody's there, every single industry, whether it's political or just financial. Everybody's there.
That's dope. That's really fly. And you know something. So I don't think there's one like an organization out here for like the black community, and I would like to see somehow, some way, the black community to create in here in Rhode Island. I know there's an organization for black community, for other individuals to be able to for individuals to educate the black community in regards to home ownership and stuff like that. But nobody really has started a chapter out here for it, and I think that's something that's really important as minorities to be able to step up to the forefront of the real estate industry. It doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're Spanish, but just seeing people of color, different people of different race and background coming to the table and being able to educate one another regarding the importance of establishing a proper future, whether it's wealth building, whether it's home ownership, whatever the case may be, just being able to establish that. And I think that's real key for people like us, because I'm first generation in this country. I'm not sure if you are.
Yeah, I am.
So my parents, when they bought their home, my parents still owned their home, paid it off. They worked really hard to make sure that home got paid, the mortgage was taken care of, and just seeing and just knowing the things that they did, the sacrifices they made, to make sure that we had a roof over our head. I don't even think they were educated on that, but my father was always the type to want to learn, and want to know how he could do better and take care of his family. And I think that's something that I really take pride on, especially being immigrants in this country. And so people of color like trying to establish something like that, especially as immigrants, it's really hard for us to get the proper education. So having NAHREP right there, and NAHREP being able to utilize their platform by bringing key people like yourself to the organization, will probably allow you to be able to educate your parents, educate your friends, educate your loved ones, and so forth. Go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with everything that you're saying. It is a tool for me to be able to be a resource to my spheres of influence, like my family, my friends, or my colleagues. It is a tool because I'm constantly, they're sending me knowledge, they're sending me blogs and material for me to educate myself, and then that's the whole purpose that I pass it down. I'll tell you this: if you don't feel like there's an organization catering to your community here, look out. I bet you it's already created. Maybe, like you said, there's not a chapter here. Because when Ramon brought it to my attention and I researched the organization, I was surprised that it's been around since the 90s. I was surprised that Jersey had like 9 chapters at the time. New York had 13 chapters at the time. And there wasn't one here in Rhode Island, because we have a huge Latino community, right? But I said, all right, nobody before me did it. I'm going to take this opportunity to do it myself. And our first event, we had an amazing turnout. Wow. It was the second largest turnout for the organization nationally that they've ever had. So our first event, we had the second largest turnout that any other chapter ever had nationally. And I don't, it was hard work on the board and us, but what it also showed? It was that the community embraced it. They needed it. They were ready for it. So a lot was that, and that kind of, I brought that up at our follow-up meeting as a board. Like, listen, this was the community waiting for us to accomplish this and make this happen. And look at how they embraced the event that we just hosted. So it gave us motivation to keep going from there, and we launched the next event. And we had a successful year that year. COVID put a hiccup on this one. We were really looking forward. We had big plans, and it was a little bump on the road. But we'll see where it takes us. We're ready to just continue with the program and keep growing it.
Talking about seeing where it takes you guys, where do Sam Alba want to see NAHREP heading?
NAHREP, I would like to see another chapter open up. After getting this one established, up and running, in the very short future, I could see another chapter in the state opening up. Okay. Whether it's north or south of Providence. I would like to see two chapters working together, because that's what we do as chapters. I'm constantly reaching out to a gentleman out in Chicago who runs a very successful chapter out there. I call him up, bounce ideas, see what he's doing, because we are given the tools and platform, but every chapter is managed slightly different, and how it's approached. And every chapter might have different needs, depending on the community too. So yeah, I would love to see another chapter open up in Rhode Island, besides this one continuing to grow. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like, you guys hear from my man Sam Alba from the Alba Group. Sam, talk to the people in regards to how they should get to know you. If they want some sound bites, if they want to be educated on what's going on, whatever it's real estate related, NAHREP related, talk to the people, give them your contact, whatever you want to do, share it.
Well, if you want to talk real estate, that's all I know how to talk about these days. After how many years of 80 hours a week just talking real estate. But listen, if you want to reach out to me, any questions, if I can assist you any way, you can email me at samuel.alba@ymail.com. You could go to the Alba Group real estate website, and you can reach me out directly. My phone number is out there on every yard sign, 401. Like, when people tell me, Sam, I lost your number, I say, just drive a block, you'll find it on somebody's yard. So 401-640-0036. And again, any question, if I could be of any help or service, reach out to me. Appreciate it. Sadiq.
You guys know what, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, appreciate it again. Thanks for having me, my man.
All day, nothing but love. You guys know what it is. It's your man Sadiq from Experiences with Sadiq, where communication is key. Knowledge is bliss. And so you guys know what it is, your man Sadiq from Experiences with Sadiq. If you guys ever need me for anything, you guys can catch me on all my social media platforms, on Facebook and Instagram, Experiences with Sadiq. Talk to you guys soon. Enjoy.